What's going on, guys? Welcome back to BlackTideTV. Today is December 10th, 2016. Yesterday on December 9th, we got a huge update, and this one may have flown under your radar as it was an in-game update. So when you went to log into your account, you got a downloading update bar, and it was really quickly done, and then you could get on and play. Most people assume that to just be a playlist update where they're changing around some game modes, putting something else into featured, or adding double XP, double weapon XP, which they did add, but it isn't the case anymore. Back in Black Ops 3, the only way that they could update the game was to have these big system version software sort of updates where you'd actually have to download an update file and go through with that update before you could get on and play. That's not the case anymore. We still have those big version software updates where they add in like new game modes and new maps and all this other kind of crazy stuff, this huge like quartermaster update. Like, we get stuff like that from time to time. But mostly in this game, we've seen in-game updates, and they fly under so many people's radars. Not a lot of people are on looking for patch notes anymore because they just assume these to be small playlist updates that aren't making a big difference, and that could not be further from the case. So I am going to be detailing the entire update that we got yesterday in today's video. Now, before we get into the weapon balances, map differences, and game mode adjustments, we're going to talk about Zombies in Spaceland and CWL because there was some changes to these, and these aren't huge, especially on this channel because we're not a Zombies channel, we're not a CoD World League, we're not a competitive channel, but this may apply to some of you, so I want to cover it as well. So Zombies, there was an update to kick timing, so if you're just sitting in a Zombies lobby just grinding keys, like you have your PlayStation just sitting there getting you keys, I do believe it's going to kick you a lot sooner now, and then you won't be able to get those keys from just sitting in a lobby all day long, which is good. For some people, bad for most, because I know a lot of people like to do that. But we've got multiplayer unlocked camos from challenges are unlocked in both public and custom games in Zombies now, so you can use your multiplayer unlocked camos in Zombies. Added player nameplates, and there is a fix for crafting stations no longer working if a player disconnects while the machine was currently crafting. So I don't play a lot of Zombies, so that's like way over my head, but if that meant anything to you, I'm glad I helped. Into CWL now. I'm not going to talk about all the CWL updates because there was a lot of them, and they're not super important to a lot of people, but they adjusted a lot of the combat rigs, how long you got to use them, how fast they charged, what they did, stuff like that, but it does not affect the regular game. This is CWL rules only. They also changed up some maps and some, like, the way that some of these maps work, and this isn't just CWL, this is all games. So this is included in the regular game as well. So Uplink, they changed some different spots on different maps. You can throw the ball over rooftops in certain areas. I'm not going to detail all this because there's a lot to talk about here and I don't really have the time for it. But search and destroy, they moved some bomb sites. I wasn't a big search and destroy player before, but if you guys were and you've noticed that a bomb site has moved into some really obscure area, some really strange area, definitely let me know in the comment section down below. So those were the changes to search and to uplink. Now these are the changes that I really take note of, but CTF, they fixed the exploit, and CTF will be returning next week at some point. Who knows what time next week that is, but we will be finally getting CTF back, so we're going to be grinding out CTF wins on the channel very soon. Uplink, they did some other adjustments on top of removing some barriers so you could throw it over rooftops easier. They also made it easier to throw the drones, so it has an easier release angle, so it throws up higher when you throw it. There's more force when you throw the drone, so you can throw it farther and faster. And the radius of the goal, so where you throw it in to score, the radius of where you can actually throw it is larger. So it will grab a ball. If you kind of miss a little bit, it will grab it and pull it in and get you the point. So that's really awesome for Uplink. Hardpoint as well, we've got revised Hardpoint spawn logic. Not really sure what they're getting at there, but apparently it's gonna be easier to spawn in Hardpoint. I'm not sure because Hardpoint already has that delayed respawn delay, and that kind of negatively impacts the game in my personal opinion. I find that it's really hard to get a good spawn, a safe spawn with that Hardpoint, with that respawn delay. So I'm not sure what they're going to be doing with this spawn logic. I definitely got to check it out, see what the spawns are like in Hardpoint now, because from what I've played, I've been spawn trapped a lot in Hardpoint. So we'll see what happens over there. Finally, into the weapon balance that you guys have been waiting for, let's talk the Mauler Mammoth. This is the epic variant of the Mauler, which I have not done an epic variant review yet, and I'm glad I haven't because they increased the recoil, which the recoil was already complete AIDS on that gun, so Pretty crazy that they need to increase the recoil even more. I'm going to have to fire that thing as a semi-automatic instead of a fully automatic now just to get my shots on. The R.A.W, which this is one that a lot of people have been waiting for a nerf to, did in fact get a nerf. It's got increased hip spread and slight recoil increase. So you're going to have a little bit more recoil when aiming down sights, and you're gonna find it harder to kill someone with hipfire spread. Actually, they increased the hipfire spread on a lot of weapons in this update. It's very strange that they did that, because normally hipfire spread isn't a big thing with a lot of weapons, and it's not something that you usually see getting changed a lot throughout the game. So it's strange that they've changed it on so many weapons in this particular update. So fists, it says no longer force a quick swap when in the secondary slot. This allows YYing to feel smoother. Honestly, I don't even know what that means. I think that means, like, when you pick up a weapon off the ground, it's like, say for example, you pick up a gun off the ground. You're holding a gun and you have fists in your secondary. When you go to pick up a gun off the ground, it usually automatically swaps, and then you kind of have one gun, and then if you hit triangle or if you hit Y again to switch back, you switch back to your primary weapon. So I feel like they've changed it, so now you have to switch to your fists before you can pick up a weapon. That seems a little strange. I'm not sure if I like that. I'm gonna have to see what they're talking about with this fists update. I'm not really sure what's going on there. The DMR-1, now a one-shot kill to the head. Thank fucking God. It's a sniper rifle. It has to have some kind of one-shot kill freaking area on the body, so thank God they finally gave it a one-shot kill to the head. In related news, the EBR-800 also got a buff, increased ADS recoil return speed to help with shot recovery. If that's just gibberish to you, basically we have increased center speed, so when you fire off a shot and you're up there looking at the sun and the stars because of the recoil, it will come back down to center and let you take off another shot a lot quicker. So it's going to help you with those follow-up shots. You're going to be able to shoot it in sniper mode a lot faster now with a lot more accuracy. Akimbo so just the attachment of Akimbo altogether, got a slight reduction in damage range and an increase in hipfire spread scale. So more hipfire spread and less damage for using weapons akimbo, which sucks because a lot of the pistols, the semi-automatic pistols in this game, when you akimbo those things, they are some of the most powerful weapons in the game. And now they're getting nerfed, of course. The Kindle 44 also got increased hip spread, which sucks because it was the most accurate hipfire weapon in the entire game. It is now reduced, so that's lovely. It's probably still the most accurate, but it has been reduced. As well as the Kindle 44, the Hornet's hipfire spread got reduced. Like I said, every freaking weapon in this entire update got reduced hipfire spread for some reason, but the Hornet increased hipfire spread. Assault rifles increased base hipfire spread for all assault rifles without special hip spread values. This includes the NV4, OSA, and Type 2. I don't think the NV4 really needed a hipfire spread increase. That seems kind of crazy. Type 2 definitely didn't need it because the Type 2 is underpowered as hell, but OSA definitely need it, and the next update in this little list is, of course, the OSA as well. So the OSA got a huge nerf, which I could not be more happy about. The OSA was definitely the best gun in the game, so OSA no longer has reduced hip spread relative to the other assault rifles. So it doesn't have reduced hip spread compared to the other assault rifles. It's now completely on par with everything else, and it inherits the new values set on assault rifles in this patch. So that last one that I talked about of all assault rifles, same thing goes for the OSA, so reduced hipfire spread. Increased recoil to compensate for high fire rate being used at range. So it's got way less hipfire spread and more recoil to deal with its high fire rate, which honestly I'm so happy about. Thank God they finally patched that OSA. I was getting really sick of being spammed by that thing in every single match I ever get into. There's always at least 2 tryhards with an OSA. The K-Bar 32, I didn't think it needed a nerf, but it got one. Increased hip spread values. These are still lower than the base assault rifle hip spread, keeping with the weapon's theme, and it no longer has a reduction in recoil off the first shot and a reduced 5-shot kill range. I honestly didn't even think this one had a reduction in recoil off the first shot, so that's news to me, but I guess it's old news because they've completely changed it, and it does not have a reduction in recoil off the first shot anymore, and it's got a reduced 5-shot kill range. Essentially what that means is you're going to drop from 5 shots to kill to 6 shots to kill sooner, which is crazy because the K-Bar is not that good of a weapon. I thought it was one of the worst assault rifles in the game, and it's getting a big nerf in this patch, so very strange there. Volk, they're finally setting it back to rights here. Slight reduction in recoil and increased 3-shot kill range. So they're increasing the 3-shot kill range and they're making the recoil a little bit more manageable. The R3K also got an increased 3-shot kill range to help it compete with other assault rifles, and this was much needed. The R3K was not a good weapon, one of the worst burst fire weapons I think we've seen in a Call of Duty game, and they're finally patching it, making it a little bit better, so it's a little bit more competitive. Last but not least, we got some general fixes at the end of these patch notes. The first one being fixes the Thunderstorm, which I believe they're trying to refer to the Hailstorm Thunder, but they're calling it the Thunderstorm. Maybe they're going to change it and make it its own weapon. I'm not really sure what they're doing there, but fixes the Thunderstorm not being unlocked for Black Ops 3 players. Salvage refund issued to all players who crafted the Hailstorm prior to the Black Ops 3 incentive. I talked about this all in my Hailstorm Thunder Epic Variant review video, which I'll link in the description down below and card in the top right corner. Double XP now applies to match bonus weapon challenges and challenges. So double XP was broken before. It didn't apply to everything. Now it does. And finally, they fixed a little exploit that I really enjoyed. So there was this camo challenge that required you to get a 3-kill streak. Well, up until this point, it only required a 2-kill streak because it was broken as fuck. And I abused that so much, getting my howitzer kills and getting a whole bunch of other very difficult weapons done, getting 3 kills in 1 life with those very difficult weapons. Well, 2 kills in 1 life because that's all you had to do. Now you actually have to get 3 kills in 1 life with those weapons, and that kind of sucks. So I'll probably have to do some problematic camos videos and cover a couple weapons now, but they did fix that. That is it for all of the updates from December 9th, 2016. Until the next one, guys, hit the like button on this video, subscribe if you're new to the channel. I will be streaming some Modern Warfare Remastered a little bit later, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys on the next one.